Welcome everybody to the channel. We got the brand new 2023 Toyota Corolla GR Circuit Edition, and this thing is absolutely destroyed. I'm just kidding, it's not destroyed, but there are some things wrong with it, and I don't know why. It's a brand new car, 31 miles. We're gonna walk through this. This is the detailer's perspective of the Toyota Corolla GR. So your brand new car isn't always perfectly brand new. You think when you get a brand new car, it's gonna be perfect, right? This one has 31 miles on it. It just came to us. It was pretty dirty when it came to us, so we washed it. Noticed a couple things as we were washing it. The first thing was on the hood. The hood has a lot of pitting, a lot of dots to it. Now, we washed it and then I felt it afterwards and you could feel some sort of contamination on the paint. I don't know what that is. It's fixable, but I don't know if it traveled on a boat, it traveled on some sort of truck. Did it sit in a parking lot for several weeks, up to a month? Did something drop on this car and kind of bake into that surface of the paint? I don't know what it was, but it didn't come off with a normal wash. And now we're left with this pitting on the hood. So we're gonna look at the car, we're gonna look at the gaps, we're gonna look at the fitment, we're gonna go touch all the surfaces, and we're gonna talk about this vehicle, how to keep it clean. It's a rally car, I know that, it's gonna get dirty, but it's still nice to be able to drive a nice, clean, good-looking car. We don't wanna treat it like crap. We wanna keep it looking good and maintain it. Even though we may be using it every day and driving it for what it is, we still wanna keep it clean. And that's what we do here at Chicago Auto Pros. We protect cars, we keep them looking new for as long as possible, and this one doesn't even look new anymore. The first thing you'll notice on camera is the water spotting on these. This is black, piano black trim, and there's a lot of it on this car. And it is very sensitive. There's two things that we can do. We can wrap it in PPF. You know, this one may be a little difficult to wrap in PPF, but we definitely wanna at least polish that out and coat it so it has a little bit of protection on it. This car is actually gonna be wrapped in a vinyl wrap film. We'll have a whole other video on wrapping this entire car in that vinyl wrap if you wanna watch that. But first we gotta get it ready. And this pitting on the hood is concerning me because I don't want that to show through the film. Like when you rub your hand over it, you don't really feel it, and I don't really think you're gonna see that through the film, but because this car had so much contamination on it, I do want to give it a quick polish just to spruce it up and make sure that there's nothing on there that would interfere with the looks of the vinyl that we're putting on. I mean, look at the top of the headlight here. So we washed it, we did the iron decontamination, and then we clay barred it. And you can see there's some staining right on top of this headlight. I want to polish it out and make it look good. You can see all the way down where it has some water spotting and all that. Coming to the front grille right away. Polishing this car is I don't want to say nightmare. It's not going to be fun. There's a lot of little spots where we have to use a smaller 3-inch polisher where it's just going to take a lot more time to polish out if we and when we want to polish this. All these little spots. This front grille, gloss black, very sensitive. You can see it has water spots and stuff on it already. All the mud and all the bugs and everything that you're gonna hit, like it's all gonna get stuck in here. It's gonna be very difficult to clean this area. So we are gonna ceramic coat this area and hopefully make it a little bit easier to clean when they do clean it. Fitment looks pretty good so far. I like looking at all the edges. Does everything fit right? Does anything look weird? There's a thing of beauty. So beauty is symmetrical. So the most beautiful people in the world have a very symmetrical face, meaning like their eyes are both the same on each side. If you split them right down the middle where their nose is, they're very symmetrical. And that's the same thing we want a car, right? We want all the lines to match, both sides to look nice and even, because that's where beauty comes from. So we want to look at some of these gaps and see if they match, see if there's any trim pieces that are maybe coming off. As a detailer, there's so many surfaces on here that we have to think about on how they will last. How is this car being maintained? Where is it sitting? This is a forged carbon roof, which looks awesome right now. But what does this thing look like in a year with the sun beating on it? I can already see, like if you get it close, there's already water spots on it. Now this is a material here, you can almost feel it. It's a little rough. It's a forged carbon piece, it's not gloss. You can't polish this. This is a matte panel here. If you polish it, you're gonna put some shine to it. So how do you protect this? We don't even want to put film over it either because, we're not gonna put a vinyl film over it and change the color. It's a cool part of it, but saying like a clear gloss film or a matte gloss film, it's not gonna look the same if we put a piece of film over it. But I have a couple products that we're actually gonna remove these water spots with. Dr. Beasley's has a lot of matte paint products, and that'll work very well on this top here, at least to get some of these water spots off. And then we can actually ceramic coat this. It'll keep it hydrophobic, and it'll have a small layer of protection on there too. Let's take a look at gaps of the doors. This is a cheap plastic rubber. It looks new and shiny now, but that's not going to stay new and shiny for long. Those pieces end up degrading very, very quickly. That looks very cheap on the car. I don't like it. I like the matte trim pieces here. They look very nice. Again though, you want to protect those because they can fade easily. I mean, you have the shiny black into the matte black. It all looks good. It doesn't look weird or anything as far as that goes. And then you have the piano black side mirror here. Very, very sensitive. We did have to clay it because there was a lot of contamination. And you can see that our clay bar has actually put some marring and scratches, which we're gonna have to polish that out. And we're gonna do that before we actually do the vinyl. We took it on a little bit of a test drive before we brought it in. This is Savage Geese's GR Corolla, so if you wanna see more content, go over to their channel. Savage Geese, they have a lot of great content, and I'm sure they're gonna do an in-depth review of this car, much more than I'm gonna do or I know about it. I'm a detailer. I know the surfaces, I know paint, I know different things like that, but check them out. I mean, the paint looks pretty good. Sometimes we look for orange peel or texture or manufacturer defects like paint solvent or anything like dust nibs or anything, like dust has actually gotten into the paint. So I'm looking for those sort of things. This looks pretty good. Looking at the fitment here, little bit of a slight overhang on the fender where the rocker panel comes. Nothing terrible, but just, it's not perfect. These wheels here, these are 18-inch gloss black wheels, and I hate them. You see all these spokes? They're next to impossible to clean. I mean, not impossible, but it just takes a lot longer to clean, getting in between each spoke. It's very, very thin for the barrel. If you want to clean the barrel, there's actually a heat shield on the back of the rotor here that's hard to get back to that full barrel. And then it's gloss black. I just hate gloss black wheels, not because of the look, but because they scratch so easy. I know that you see a lot of people clean wheels with brushes and stuff. We have dedicated mitts that I like to use on all wheels, but for sure you want to use them on a gloss black wheel because just like paint, it'll scratch up just as easy as paint will. So you want to take care and maintain them. We're going to ceramic coat those to make it a little easier to wash, keep the brake dust from building up too much and baking on there. If this car is going to be actually rallied, you know, the wheel's going to get very, very hot, and any of that brake dust, any of the steel that's coming off of that rotor will actually embed itself into there, so we want to make it easier to wash and maintain. Coming to the butt, this big old rear giant back bumper. From the back, it looks awesome. They copied the Civic Si a little bit with the triple exhaust in the back. It looks really good from the back, actually. But it definitely has that rally car look with the wide body, with the wheels, the stance. I mean, it just screams rally car. Let's take at the surfaces in the back and everything. This looks like it sucks to polish. This is all 3-inch small polisher buffer work here. I'd recommend that, you know, you got this flat area on the back bumper, which could end up being used as a table. Like if you open this up and you start pulling stuff out, sometimes you get people that are just gonna like set it there for a second, reposition their hands, and then pull it out. That's why we recommend doing paint protection film, usually on the back bumper area here, so if somebody does set something on there, it's not gonna gouge it or scratch it or anything like that. Is there no button to go back down? It's a manual close. Ooh, look at this. So, this looks like somebody sanded something. So sometimes from the factory, if there's a dust nib or a paint imperfection, they may sand it and do some stuff at the factory, and this looks really weird actually. This looks definitely like somebody scrubbed it or sanded it. There may have been something sitting on there, glue, adhesive, whatever it was, but somebody scrubbed something here that they shouldn't have. And we are gonna wrap it, so you're not gonna see that. So this is why we like doing a light polish, even if we're putting film over it. We just wanna make sure every piece of contamination that would interfere with the look of the film gets off the car. If you're putting a vinyl on it, you're not gonna see it, but you could see a little bit of a bump. So we have some pieces on the door here. My only fear with this type of stuff, especially being up in the north, is Like what happens when sand and salt get stuck behind here? You know what happens when sand and salt get stuck in a place on a vehicle? It starts to rust out. Everything on here is not the manufacturer's fault, like the pitting and the stuff that is sitting on top, the little pitting and stuff. I can even see the pitting on the door here. This is all fixable, but it would be a little heartbreaking if this was my car and I washed it and I saw all this pitting and I'd be like, what is that? So something sat on there in between the car being manufactured and it getting to the actual customer, whether it was sitting on a boat or sitting in a parking lot, whatever it was, and did a little bit of damage. It's all fixable. We're gonna polish it out. That's all fixable by polishing, but it's still a little disheartening to know that you have a 31-mile car, which is pretty much brand new. And you know, if we were gonna put a ceramic coating on this, I would tell the customer, like, listen, you know, I'm looking at 5 hours of polishing, you know, to polish everything out. Maybe it needs a little bit of compounding, repolish it. You got all these little tiny trim pieces that are gonna just take time. I mean, we're gonna spend an hour on that rear spoiler there just to polish that out and make it look good. 3-cylinder, 300 horsepower, turbo, 1.6 liter, I believe. Look at that. Don't put your hand down there and don't lean over with your tie. I love that sticker. You know somebody leaned over their car with a tie. That's why they have that sticker on there, because some dumbass with a tie, with the engine running, leaned over and got sucked in. So now they have to make a sticker for it. So there are 3 different trim levels when you get this car. This is the middle of the circuit edition, and this one does upgrade the seats here, which are Alcantara in the middle, a little bit of leather on the bolsters on the outside, but it has a nice, you know, race car feel seat here. You got the GR emblem in the headrest up there. Below the headrest, you got a little piece here, which is a little plastic piece, which this is all contrast. It makes it look really nice. And if you look back, like even in the perforations, you can see the little red dots in the perforations, which is really cool. I love that. And the red stitching, it all flows together really, really nice. Seats are very comfortable coming in here. You know, things that we look at as detailers, looking in this center console here, all this black piano trim. A detailer or somebody who is keen to this type of stuff, they cringe when they see this because this scratches so easily. All the fingerprints on it, anytime you touch it, it just gets smudged. Now you can cover this with a paint protection film. They do have kits if you want to do that. Heated seats, front passengers, so you got the driver and the passenger heated seats here. This circuit edition only comes in the manual, which is awesome. I didn't like this, so when you pull the parking brake there, there's no sound. Usually you hear that ratchet sound. There's nothing there. The dash feels like leather almost, like stitched leather here. It's very nice. This is a little more hard plastic. Oh, this is the hard plastic up there. This looks like hard plastic. I like a little fatter steering wheel. Feels a little nicer. This feels a little thin to me. A lot of different buttons here on the steering wheel. Push button start, navigation screen up here, and then you got the big navigation up here for your radio and everything. Different drive modes, and then you got push for track mode here, and then it appears to be that you could put more power to the front and rear. I haven't read too much about this car, but that's what it appears to be. You can put more power to the front, more power to the rear. Nothing as far as like storage goes though. In the center console, you got another USB-C port, a cigarette adapter type, but nothing as far as storage. You got this, you can open it up and put stuff there, but you got 2 cup holders. Kind of weird that they didn't like make this an open storage or something up here where it has open storage, so it's really nothing there. Almost like a cloth type of headliner here. It is not Alcantara. It looks like that really cheap cloth that you'll find in shitty cars. Over here you got the badge, the Circuit Edition 2023 GR, limited to 1,500 units produced. It looks like you got a heated steering wheel. Rally with luxury. Back seat. Wouldn't want to take a road trip in it, but if I was just going to lunch, not bad. They do have a 2-seater version, like the top trim level is only comes with 2 seats, removes the rear seats. Probably for weight reduction. Back here looks like we have a battery. Emergency tire puncture repair kit. That's cool. It's like a little canister of air. Fix-a-flat right in the back. Does it have a spare tire? Nope. No spare. You get a can of Fix-A-Flat. If you can't fix it with that, you're fucked. All right. It's time for us to fix some of the damage here. We're gonna polish it out. We're gonna get it nice and smooth. And then we're gonna take it all apart because we're gonna vinyl wrap this thing in a vinyl color change. If you wanna see that video, we'll link it somewhere, go in the description. But thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of the new Toyota GR Corolla.